everyone, and welcome back to Save Snuffles 101. Today is August 23rd, 2017, and if you've been paying attention, I didn't really mean to, but I kind of took the summer off, but I didn't forget about my mission. And over the summer, I've been gathering up pamphlets and booklets, games, and fun activities to do for my YouTube channel, Save Snuffles 101, a channel all about humane education. And one of the things I did get was this Pom Pom Pals pet. So the box claims to have everything that you need to make some of your Pom Pom Pals pets. And when you open it up, it has a little booklet inside, Pom Pom Pals Pets. And it's really cool because it gives you all the instructions on how to make your Pom Pom Pals. And it gives you a little information about the Pom Pom Pals. Well, what their animal counterpart is. So today when we're making a puppy, it gives you information about what a puppy is and some little fun facts about it, and then all the cool details about how to make your Pom Pom Pal puppy. So what you're going to do first is you're going to get the smaller circle, because that's going to be the head, and cut about 20 feet of yarn for whatever color you want the dog to be. Since I only have these limited colors, I'm going to go ahead and do brown. But if you have your own yarn and you want to make a fun like blue dog, or if you're going to go out and maybe get the black yarn, or a tan yarn or something. So to start out, you take the yarn and you start it by putting, it'll show pictures in the book, but you have the little strand. This is like your starting spot. And you're going to hold it there, and then you see how it kind of goes around back, and then that's when it got started looping through. So I've looped through a couple of times. So you loop behind and pull it through. Like I said, it's only about 20 feet of yarn. I did a little bit more. Just in case I mess up, I don't know. And you pull it through, and then you put it over that piece. So it's going to hold it in place so that you, it's going to be a secure little pom-pom. So you have that, and you're just going to pull them and line them up right next to each other. Pull them kind of tight so they can kind of line up right next to each other, and then you're just going to go all the way around the circle to make your pom-pom. So that'll be the start of it. And so you just kind of keep going through. It's a little fine motor activity, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not a good fine motor person. But we all have, we're never too late to keep practicing our motor skills. So I'm going to keep on doing this until I get to the next part of the pom-pom activity. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your two circles that are the same size. You're going to put them together. So you have the two circles. I'm using the smaller ones because the first thing we're making for the puppy is the head. So I go ahead and put the two soft circles together, and I started this for you. So you get the end and you hold it to the side, and then you wrap the yarn around it. So it's behind that, and so you just pull it through, you wrap it around, you hold it kind of tight, and then you just have to pull the yarn through to finish that little loop. And so you're going to do that all the way around, and so that's going to keep it secure by holding that little end piece down. And so you see how it's behind all the other pieces of yarn there. So that was my first start, and then I went through and I wrapped it around, and so you're just going to keep doing that all the way around the... Okay, so I'm done. I wrapped it up, and it says to keep wrapping until you only have a little bit of yarn left. I cut off a little bit because the next step you're going to need some, and I mean, I'm not looking for this to be 100% perfect. So what you do, you can't really tell here, but with the extra strand, you tuck it under some of the other yarn to keep it taut. So you just want to be able to just like slide it under. I did mine a little tight, so I'm not sure if... Hopefully my pom-pom will hold, because I wasn't able to get it under a lot of strands, but I did get under about 3 or 4 strands. So I'm just going to cut off the excess here. I'm going to leave a little bit out in case I want to try to tuck it. So you're going to have your little pom-pom here. Whoops. So I did wrap it around a couple of times. I made sure it looked really good at first, and that it was really close and tight. And then with the excess yarn, I went around a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit better coverage. So the next part is going to be a little challenging. You have to kind of find the center of the two rings because you're going to be cutting in between the two centers, but all the way around and through the yarn. So you're going to slide your scissors in as best you can, and make sure you're in between the two discs. And you're just going to cut your way around the disc of yarn to make your pom-pom. So it's going to be kind of spreading out like that a little bit. So once you're done cutting, your ball should look something like this. So what you're going to do next is you are going to kind of separate the two discs like so that you have this little gap in the middle. And you're going to try to make it somewhat even here. So if you need to, just kind of pull it a little bit so that it's even on both sides, or as even as you can get it. You're going to make a pretty big-ish gap because now you're going to tie the pom-pom together with your extra string that you had saved. So this is about, the book says about 9 inches, but whatever you think is going to be best for your little pom-pom guy. So you're going to wrap it around tightly. I did mine like 2 or 3 times, and then just tie it in like a double knot. So there's my little knot. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I wrapped it around a couple times. And so now that it's tied, very carefully pull off the cardboard pieces. So there's one side. You just kind of want to round it out. So there's my pom-pom. It's a little crude, but there it is. There's my little pom-pom ball. So pretty cute. Looks like a cute, fluffy little puppy. So now that I have my pom-pom made, I need to kind of cut off any pieces that are extra long. So obviously these 2 pieces are going to go. So let me just slice those suckers off right now. This piece. Those were from my knot making. So, and then if you see any kind of obnoxiously long pieces that don't really seem to go and you need to trim them, just go ahead and trim them as you see fit. So if you kind of want them uniform all the way around. So this is kind of what my pom-pom looks like right now. And I think it looks pretty good all the way around. So now I have my pom-pom, and then we're going to go back to the instructions actually for making the puppy from the book. The first part was to make the pom-pom, so now I have done that. You still get to keep your little wheels, so in the future if you want to make other pom-poms for either of these pom-pom pals, or if you're doing another fun craft idea and you don't know how to make these, now you do. So it's kind of fun to do. So we're going back to the puppy, and so I'm going to go back to my little book here. And the first step is to trim off any long ends of the yarn of your finished pom-pom and to make a round ball of yarn. So it's going to look like this picture here. So that's what we're aiming for. So that's going to be by trimming off parts of the pom-pom and making it into a round ball. So it's going to be kind of a little maybe tedious, but you want to make sure it's even all the way around your ball. So you're going to be turning the ball in your hand until you basically have a ball, and it's not so yarny. You don't want it to be that yarny because this is the head. So your dog is going to look like this. So the top is going to be more kinky type curls, and the bottom will have like the looser curls. So go ahead and turn your ball over in your hands and start trimming off some of these edges. Give your puppy its first grooming appointment, if you will. So I'm going to keep on trimming my ball. Here's my ball. Small, cute. It looks pretty even all the way around, but I mean, it's my little creation, so however I want it, however I think it's gonna look good, I'm gonna leave it. And the same goes for you. This is your little pom-pom pal, and so if you think your ball looks good, then your ball looks perfect. So the next part you're gonna do is decide where you want basically the top of the head and the bottom of the head. So I'm going to do these 2. So this is going to be the top of the head here. So the bottom of the head I need to cut to make flat because I'm going to glue one of my little cardboard pieces onto here. So I'm going to cut this to make it as flat as possible so that my little piece will go on there and sit nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I think it looks pretty flat down there. It's kind of hard for me to show you. So then you're going to take one of these little discs, the smallest one, and you're going to glue that on there for the bottom of the head. So here's my pom-pom with a little headpiece on. So there it is. In my house, glue is a little limited, so I used a hot glue gun. That's what we have kind of around here. But I think any kind of glue will work. Maybe just a regular Elmer's glue or hot glue gun. So that's what I did. So that's making a little head. So can't really see, but he's a cute little head, I think. And even if I just stopped there, I'd be mighty proud of my work. So the next part is to kind of decide where you want the front of the head to be. And we're going to create the little muzzle, the little snoot that the dog has. So pick where you want it to be. So I think I'm going to do right here. Or maybe over here. Yeah, I'll do over here. And you're going to cut it out like a little dimple of yarn. So that it's kind of like indented. Because that's where you're going to glue in your little muzzle ball. So cut out a small little indent for where you want your ball to go. So I made my little indent, and it's just ever so slight, but it's big enough for the ball to go in. And then you're going to take your glue and you're going to glue the muzzle on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because the owl is over there. So here's my little guy with his little nose. So next we're going to add the little tip of the nose and his little eyeballs. So what you need to do, just like you made with the nose, is just making sure it's flat. Maybe cut small little indents for where the eyes are going to go. And you're going to go ahead and glue those in there as well. And those come in your little pack. This was part of it. So you're going to take out 3 little black balls. One's going to be for the nose tip, and the other 2 are going to be for the eyeballs. And you're going to go ahead and glue those on. When you glue them on, make sure you just hold them there for a couple of seconds just to kind of let the glue dry and harden. And then you'll have your little head. And then we'll move on to the ears. So here's my little guy. I glued on his little 2 eyeballs and his little nose. So the next thing we're going to make are his ears. And so in your little packet, your box, I should say, you got... Oh, nope, not the box. In the back of the book. In the back of the book. You have these little templates for what your different parts of the body are. So little templates. So they do have an ear template. So what you would have to do is cut out this last page and then cut out the template that you needed. So I'm just going to cut out the template that I need, which is the puppy and the dog ear. That's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. They have a bunch of different things. They've got the bird foot, a fish tail, a top fin for a fish, a guinea pig claw, puppy tail, cat and kitten ear, fish mouth, cat kitten tail, fish side fin, guinea pig ear, cat paw, dog tail, bird beak, and rabbit ear. So we're going to cut out, like I said, the puppy and dog ear. So I cut out the dog ear, and in your little packet of supplies, you got some felt. So then you're going to cut out the ear with the felt. So you can either trace it, or you can just cut it out. So I'm just going to place it up to there, and I'm just going to cut it out along the edge so that I can get the nice ear shape. So I'm going to obviously need 2 of them. So I'm going to cut out 2 of them, and then we'll glue them to the dog. So here are my 2 doggy ears. And so then what you're going to do is, looking at your animal. Ooh, I have a little piece. Let me cut this off. Okay. So looking at your little friend, you're going to find a little area where you want the ears to go. You're going to separate it. And then you're going to glue the ear. So you see how I'm separating it, like you're combing its hair. Then you're going to glue the ear in there so that when the hair comes back down, it covers it up. So let's go ahead and glue the ears. So here are my dog's ears. Ear 1, ear 2. So you separate them, and then once I had the glue in there and I had the ear in, I pressed the hair down so that the hair kind of covers it a little bit, so it looks more natural. My ears are kind of weird, but that's all right. He's still cute. Alright, so the next part is we have to make the dog's body. So in order to do that, you have to make another pom-pom. So that's what we're going to do next. So if you remember what I told you about making the pom-poms, you take the 2 pieces together and then you wrap it all the way around to make the body. So you should have your next pom-pom. I haven't trimmed it down yet. This is what it looks like after I tied it off and everything. So when you get to this point, don't trim it down and turn it into like the fluffy ball just yet. What you're going to do is you're going to trim the top half of it and leave the bottom half like little feet. All right, so you're gonna make like the top rounded half, trim down into that little ball fashion, and leave the parts down here a little bit longer. That's gonna be part of the legs. So as you can see, it's kind of rounded at the top and a little bit longer at the bottom. So this is going to be the body, and down here are going to be the little legs. So the next part I think is going to be a little tricky, at least for me, because again, I'm not very crafty, is with the longer parts on the bottom, you need to separate them into like 4 little stubs and then cut around them, but leave those stubs long so that they're like the legs. You could probably also just do the front 2 and carve around the legs and leave the back ones like the dog is sitting, but I'm going to try to do all 4 legs and see how that works out, so wish me luck. So this really was the best that I could do, but that's all right. So then the next thing you're going to do is you need to make the top part of the dog flat so that you can glue the head on top. So go ahead and cut it flat. I've already done that, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue where my other dog, the little cardboard piece was. I'm going to glue it right there on top. So I've glued the body onto my head, or the head onto the body. And along with that, you can leave the ears flopping out however you want. Put a little dab of glue on the sides of the ears so that the ears are kind of hanging down. And so her ears, or his ears, are there. She's connected to her little body, so you can see that. And then the very last step before we put on the little ribbon is to cut out from that last page the dog's tail. So here's the dog's tail that I cut out. It's the paper ripped a little bit. And then to put it up to the felt and cut out the felt tail. And then just like the ears, you're just going to cram it in there with some glue. And that's going to be the little doggy's tail. And here is my finished project, my little baby puppy. As you can see, I already put the ribbon on. All you do is you wrap it around the neck of the dog, and then you cross it over and put a little dab of glue on just to hold it in place for your puppy. And as you can see back here, I do in fact have the tail on there. So she's sitting there. You probably could have made the bigger pom-pom for the body. I thought the smaller body would be cute, just as cute. So I went ahead and obviously I made the smaller body. More fun facts about your puppy, that it's related to a wolf. About 10,000 years ago, people began taming wolves. The wolves were used to help protect people's homes and help herd their animals. Later, they started to breed dogs for particular jobs. Like collies are used to herd animals. Labradors are used to fetch and find, and others, such as poodles and chihuahuas, were bred simply just to be your friend. Just like this guy, he's bred just to be your friend. But that's fun facts about your little puppy. So go ahead and share him and show all your friends. So that's it for Safe Snuffles 101. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for making your Pom Pom Pal puppy with me. There'll be more where that came from in the future. And if you're wondering why did they make a craft for what appears to be kids, well, first of all, anybody can enjoy making a craft. But second of all, don't forget, my mission is to help teach children how to be humane people, starting with our friends, the animals. So see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, and have fun with your Pom Pom Pal puppy.